pain that we have started doing is like unforgettable.
Hear from the victims of the Oakland, California school shooting. And tourist attractions in Montana gear up for the summer season. Watch all that and more tonight on Fox 5 News at 9.
Your first local news at 9 starts right now, only on Fox 5 at 9.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Emily Scarlett. It's definitely not hard to think about summer on a day like today, and for some Montana cities, which depend on the tourism industry to drive their economies, summer can't get here quick enough. Fox 5's Charlie King and spent the day in Choteau as outfitters and businesses gear up for the busy summer season.
Hundreds of hunters flock to the front every year for big game hunting season. But now with summer on the way, outfitters and restaurants in Choteau are preparing for the next season, where recreationists come from all over the country to enjoy the Rocky Mountain front.
You can have soup, salad, fries, whatever you like to go with that.
The Log Cabin Cafe is full of locals during this lunch rush.
It's nice to have a full house.
Once summer hits and Main Street is busy with visitors, waitresses will be taking orders from tourists eager to try the daily special.
We have a lot of scenery that you can really appreciate during the middle of the summer.
June through August are busiest at the restaurants. A map on the wall shows where customers come from to try the soup du jour.
Seafood chowder.
It's not rare to see a backcountry hiker walk in hungry for a real meal and a slice of homemade pie.
You see the hunters in their camouflage and the bird watchers with their binoculars asking a lot of questions about freeze out in the area. Tourists that are driving through and curious about the Rocky Mountain front. They're a lot of fun. They're usually pretty excited.
As more money and more customers come in during the summer, the restaurant hires extra employees to help out.
It weighs under 3 pounds.
For the 39th year, Bill Cunningham will lead groups into the Bob Marshall Complex for days at a time.
Some of the best country on the planet.
Last year's heavy snow and extreme runoff forced him to change plans quite a few times, but he never did cancel a trip.
We had to revert to Plan B in many cases with different routes than we had originally planned.
With the sun shining and snow melting, Cunningham is getting excited about a long summer full of treks.
I'm optimistic that we're going to have a really nice summer and with good runoff and plenty of water in the streams for fishing and good wildflowers early season.
He calls himself a small piece of the economy, but knows how crucial tourism is to Choteau. Even with Teton Pass ski area closed for the season, officials back in Choteau say their business didn't hurt too much. After all, winter is their slowest season of the year. On the Rocky Mountain front, Charlie Keegan, Fox 5.
Thanks, Charlie. Moving into weather, Chief Meteorologist Adam Coslin is here with the first look at our forecast.
Good evening. It certainly was a lovely day. The big question is, can we keep it like this? Tonight in your Fox First weather, we'll take a look at red flag warnings where it's warm, windy, and dry in eastern Montana. Also gusts to around 35 miles per hour. Could be the case around Fort Peck Lake, so we'll look at wind advisories there. And even some snow later in our week, so there will be some quick changes, and we'll check all these out in your Weather Authority. It's coming up. Emily, back to you.
Thanks, Adam. Investigators at Oikos University in Oakland, California, still trying to piece together what happened yesterday morning leading to the shooting deaths of 7 people.
Terrifying moments for dozens of students when a gunman walked into their school and allegedly opened fire. The deadly shooting happened Monday morning at a Christian school in California. Police say it appears one Go was upset with the school's administrator as well as some former students. At least 7 people were killed and 3 others injured. Many students, including Dechen Wangzum, were forced to take cover in their classrooms.
If I didn't lock the door, I think we might be dead today.
The alleged gunman Juan Go, a frequent visitor here at Oakland's Westlake Christian Terrace Senior Housing, where his parents live. Administrators say he seemed to be an involved and caring son.
He's always been very respectful, very helpful, and I'm really surprised.
The suspected gunman is expected to appear before a judge later this week.
A year-long melanoma study shows even though men are more at risk for the cancer, young women are being diagnosed at a much higher rate. And while researchers at the Mayo Clinic are certainly worried about the increase of melanoma cases for everyone, the most alarming stats come for women in their 20s and 30s. It's in this age group that researchers are seeing increased chances of getting melanoma 8 times compared to the 1970s.
Oh, I take full responsibility for the fact that this happened. I think that I played a huge role in it.
Susie Major is like any of you at home. During her teenage years, she lived in the sun playing fast-pitch softball. but admits she added to the dangers of cancer herself.
I mean, I did use a tanning bed for proms and homecomings just like every other person did for high school, and it's just unfortunate.
Because at 22 years old, the nurse was diagnosed with melanoma.
Yeah, I'd scare you. 22. You don't want to hear that.
The growing numbers of young women being diagnosed with that cancer prompted Dr. Jerry Brewer of the Mayo Clinic to research the numbers. In Olmsted County, he found melanoma has increased 700% from 1970 to today for women 20 to 39 years old.
Some of the recent polls suggest young women know it's bad for them, but they're not changing their behavior.
While the study couldn't prove a cause, Dr. Brewer says people are wearing a lot less clothing today than in the 1970s. And he says statistics prove that tanning beds play a huge role in increased melanoma cases.
I was just on the phone with my sister yesterday who goes to tanning beds. In spite of me being a dermatologist, and I said, why do you go? And she said, well, because I have this perception that if I'm tan, I'll be more successful and I'll be liked more. And you know, trying to get rid of that perception in society is very difficult.
I actually have plenty of friends right now that still do tanning beds. Like my best friend still tans, and I'm like, how could you do that knowing what happened to me? And she still does it because she likes to be tan.
And unfortunately, Susie sees it every day as a nurse.
I work in the neuro ICU, and I unfortunately see patients in their 40s and 50s with advanced melanoma all over their brain. And it's like little freckles, and there's nothing you can do for it.
While you can't go back and change your ways, you certainly could look for signs of melanoma to catch it early, like Susie did.
So I'm so grateful that even though it stinks to get that at 22, to know that I'm not going to be 40 and dying of brain cancer.
But there is some good news here at the Mayo Clinic. More people are surviving melanoma than ever before because of early detection and medical procedures. But doctors say, don't let your guard down. That's because still, one person is dying every hour from melanoma, and that should certainly be a wake-up call. Back to you.
Severe weather is still making headlines across the country, and today it's in Dallas, Texas. Severe damage throughout the city after several tornadoes ripped through the area. Trucks tossed around like toy cars, roofs ripped off from homes, and tree branches scattered across lawns and streets. It's a devastating sight all across the city right now. The National Weather Service confirming at least 2 separate tornadoes touched down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area this afternoon. There are no reports of injuries at this time. Well, Adam, I'm not looking forward to a change in weather.
Yeah, it's looking like we already mentioned snow, so we're going to find out when all this might happen. Looks like a little later on in the week. Still another delightful day tomorrow. Take a look at today's almanac, and remember, average highs are now only in the low 50s. We made it into the mid-60s today, so enjoy this.
Your Weather Authority forecast continues right now on Fox 5 at 9.
Welcome back. Here's our tower cam. On a night like this, how could there be any weather issues? There's really not right now. Let's take a look. There's some red flag warnings, and these are more of a threat for tomorrow with fire weather conditions in northeastern Montana, including Glasgow. This is where we have these red flag warnings active, and it starts Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. Wednesday, where we're seeing gusts up to around 35 miles per hour, dry humidities into the teens, and this could cause explosive fire growth potential, so be careful. It'll be tempting to be outside and getting the grill going, but watch those hot coals. Also a lake wind advisory tonight. We're seeing Fort Peck Lake. It looks like these winds will increase early Wednesday. Advisory is active until 9 p.m. with gusts up to 30 miles per hour in these areas. And here's the wind picture at this point. We're just seeing wind speeds a little bit breezy in places like Great Falls and Glasgow. Still mild and dry for the most part tonight. Winds are coming out of the south, and here's this latest front. It'll be getting here kind of slowly, so we don't really have much to worry about just yet until at least tomorrow afternoon. There could be some isolated storms, and then we'll see further down the road better chances for showers. But at this point, it's only a weak disturbance on the side of our screen, and just a couple of light showers up in the middle of Washington tonight. High pressure is in the middle of North Dakota, keeping skies calm across the entire Big Sky. Temperatures right now 51 in Great Falls, 48 in Missoula, 45 in Lewistown, up to 50 in Glasgow, and 51 in Helena. By Wednesday, we're going to be topping out in the 60s to around 70s for parts of the High Line and Northeast. We're dealing with a warm front on top of us, but quickly changing weather behind the next system moving through. That'll bring a brisk cool down and rain and snow at times, all starting by, for us, it looks like Thursday night, the first chance for snow showers, and again by Friday night, but it looks like minimal impacts for the lower elevations. The mountains, we're going to continue to monitor. It looks like maybe some more accumulations there. 37 in Great Falls and Glasgow for tonight's low, and closer to freezing in Lewistown. Tomorrow's highs really get up there. 69 in the Electric City, 64 in Helena, 67 in Lewistown, 62 in White Sulphur Springs, and 66 for Townsend. Warm enough for showers and isolated storms around Chester and Shelby and Cut Bank. Highs here into the mid-60s and maybe even getting close to 70 in places. Chinook 71 tomorrow. Glasgow, here's the heat, 70 degrees, 69 in Plentywood. But note it'll be breezy with gusts around 40 miles per hour. 52 on Thursday. So we're kind of holding off on those showers, but by Thursday night I think the chances start to increase, and we'll see it again Friday. Even could get a mix of rain and snow by this time. Saturday, temperatures are slowly warming. We'll make it into the upper 40s for Easter Sunday, and 50s and 60s for next week once high pressure provides more sunshine. Going to be a little bit messy for Wednesday and Thursday, even snow on Friday in the capital. Emily, back to you.
Coming up, a man recovers from a remarkable surgery, the only one to ever happen in the U.S. And the mother of Whitney Houston, Cissy Houston, speaks out for the first time since the singer's death in tonight's entertainment update. Up next on Fox 5 News at 9.
For the first time since the death of singer Whitney Houston, we'll hear from her mother, Cissy Houston, a sort of idol to those with diabetes. And I've got some news on some new releases this week for your personal entertainment collection in tonight's entertainment update.
The trailer for the movie Sparkle is finally out, featuring the late Whitney Houston and co-starring Idol alum Jordan Sparks. The movie hits theaters in August. Meanwhile, Cissy Houston speaking out about Whitney Houston and life without her. The interview taking place in the very church Whitney's funeral took place, New Hope Baptist Church in Newark, New Jersey.
I'm really proud of my daughter. She's accomplished a great deal in the short time that she's had here. I'm proud of her for a lot of things. She was a very wonderful person.
American Idol judge Randy Jackson says he's trying to pay it forward. That's why he's working with drug maker Merck to help those with type 2 diabetes to take it to heart. Randy was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 2003. The website takingdiabetesteheart.com has information to help patients learn about their condition and some smart ways to live. There's a pledge patients can take, and if they do, they will have access to some of Jackson's personal tips on how to deal with the disease. Fresh off her Idol performance last week,
What they gonna say?
Nicki Minaj tells us what makes her new album Pink Friday Roman Reloaded so different.
It goes in a lot of, I think, emotional depth that the first album didn't really go into. So it's kind of dealing with love, dance, party, hip hop, street, all of that stuff.
And the Material Girls 1991 documentary Madonna Truth or Dare comes out on Blu-ray following her controversial Blonde Ambition tour. Finally, country superstars Rascal Flatts released their 8th studio album, Changed, hoping to continue dominating the charts. And that's your entertainment update.
A very special anniversary for the nation's first full face transplant patient. It's been a year since 26-year-old Dallas Wines underwent extensive surgery. Today he says it's the little things he's most grateful for.
I don't know actually what it would be like had I not gotten it done, but I do know where it's going to be right now. And the future looks bright.
Beating the odds and being a good dad, two things 26-year-old Dallas Wines is most happy about, although maybe not in that order. Wines was severely burned in 2008 when he came into contact with a high-voltage electrical line while painting a church in his native Texas. After months of reconstructive surgery to repair his body, learning to walk again, and finally matching and receiving the U.S.'s first full face transplant at the Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, Wines is finally able to enjoy the simplest things in life. He tells me about the first time he could feel his 5-year-old daughter Scarlett kiss him on the cheek.
You mentioned about the first time you felt her kiss. What was that like for you?
I'm really crying now. She feels like especially the first time after my injury. I wish I can't even talk about it without getting emotional. It was incredible.
By all accounts, Dallas should not have survived the devastating injury that took his face, but he did. High level of sensitization precluded him from matching a donor, but he did. All transplant recipients are expected to have a rejection episode, but he's the only patient in the world who has not had one.
Wines' doctors tell me they were able to use what they've learned treating him in other transplant cases, potentially giving countless others a future as bright as Wines'.
How you care for these patients on the front end after their injury, and maybe also how you take care of them on the back end after the transplantation, I think are two different areas of interest as this field gets more defined and redefined.
The next milestone for Wines, getting a full set of teeth in about 3 months.
What a remarkable story.
I know, it's
wow.
good to hear he's pulling through. Well, Tom Wiley joins us now with sports. Nothing out of the ordinary in sports today.
No, it's been a crazy couple days, of course, but no one got fired or arrested or hit by a car today, thank goodness. So, which means today we can just focus on the sports themselves, which is what we like to do here. And after the Jamboree over the weekend, all of our AA softball teams taking the field for the start of the regular season. We'll have scores and highlights when sports comes back right after the break.
Total sports coverage. Fox 5 Sports starts right now.
Welcome back. Tom Wiley here with sports. Well, wins and losses at the Great Falls Softball Jamboree don't count towards your regular season record, so it's used as a measuring stick for where teams stand entering the season. But nevertheless, the Great Falls High Bison went 4-0 under first-year head coach Mike Coleman, which may be a sign of things to come. And they're facing a Capital team that's had some problems with teams from the East in the past. Fourth inning here, Bruins up 1-0. Jess Apple on the mound gets it right in her gut. She can't keep that smile off her face. Same inning, 2 outs. Brooke Guntewitz with the pop fly, and that's Anna Morgan making the fantastic catch over her shoulder. We'll go to the 6th inning here. Savannah Smith at the plate. Looks like a routine ground out, but the fielder cannot handle it. That allows 2 runs to score, makes it 3-zip. Capital last chance for the Bison. And that's Jason Mulcahy with the amazing catch. Capital wins 3-0.
Had like a lot more motivation, and we worked a lot harder because we only had one practice between the Jamboree and here, and I think we had a really good practice and we worked really hard, and we know what we needed to work on, and I think it showed a lot in that game, but there's still things we can improve on.
CMR, they're coming off a 3-1 performance at the Jamboree, with the Helena Bengals won 3 of 4 as well. Bengals up 2-zip. Wild pitch by Mackenzie Donnelly allows Jordan Otis to cross the plate. It's a 2-1 Bengal lead, but Donnelly, having her way early, makes the ice cream cone catch right there. Still 2-1 through 3 innings, but in the 4th, the Rustlers up 3-2. Bengals looking for more points, but Jenny Peer with the run-saving catch. Go ahead and smile for the camera there, Jenny. There you go. Then the Rustlers' bats come alive in the 6th. Jess De La Rosa slips one into right field. Run would score, makes it 7-2. And then to cap it off, Maddie Mahoney, she finds space. 2 more runs would score. Rustlers take it 9-2. And after the early action, here are the late games. CMR improves to 2-0 on the year, defeating Capital 5-4. The Bison rout the Bengals 12-2, the final on that one. Well, track season's underway as well, and the Helena High girls are looking to improve upon a 3rd-place finish at last year's state meet. Today, they got their first test against the AA opponent hosting Great Falls High. Couldn't ask for any better weather. The sun was out and the wind was minimal. First, the boys' long jump. That's Helena's Nate Caldwell. Takes first on his jump, 19 feet 8 inches. Didn't like his form, but he's only 4 inches away from qualifying for state. Then in the girls' 100-meter dash, Helena sophomore Callie Kantak made it to state last year, did not disappoint. Today, she's the clear-cut winner, 13.2 seconds on that run. Boys' 1,600-meter over after the 2nd lap. That's Matt Burke. He beats the rest of the field by nearly 18 seconds. We'll have final team scores later on the website. Tennis season also kicking things off today with both the Great Falls schools and Helena looking to start their seasons off on the right note. First time in a while that we haven't had rain or snow in Helena. Capital girls on the attack right here, with the Bison doing everything they can to combat it. On this point, though, Madison Guttings and Sarah Hines too much. They get the sneaky point right there. In the #1 singles, Bison won handily. #2 is a little closer. Jenna Ratcliffe nicely drops the ball for the point. Bruin girls win the team matchup 5-3. Boys were a different story, though. Jaime Serrano with the point off the serve. That's an ace. His doubles team would win, but the Bison boys end up losing 7-1. Still in the capital city, Helena High taking on Great Falls High. The Bengal boys look dominant in every pairing except number 2 doubles. Will Smith, Will Smith, Gavin Weissman win their match for CMR. Bengals win 7-1 as a team. On the girls' side, solid match here. Number 1 singles. Helena's Caitlin Nichols can't quite keep it in, but she'd go on to win her match regardless. Then in the number 1 doubles, great rally in the second set, but off the Russell return, Marissa O'Brien hits it squarely off the green and white jersey there. Bengal girls win the team score 6-2. One last piece of news we got to mention, the Carroll College track team. They've signed 3-time state champion distance runner Derek Williams to the Saints squad. Williams won state titles for Class A Columbia Falls in the 800 and 1600 meter races last year. He had the fastest time, 800 time in the state, regardless of class, so a good pickup for the Saints.
Well, again, it's nice to hear such an upbeat sports update.
Yeah, it's been a rash of bad news. We're happy to talk about sports again.
We'll be right back. Well, that's all we have for tonight. We hope to see you again tomorrow night on Fox 5 News at 9.